This is a video product review of the super strong, what is this, Neodymium block magnet N52 permanent magnet disc, the world's strongest and most powerful rare earth magnets, one piece. I don't know what the heck I bought. Why did I buy this? Seriously, I don't know. I'm not even sure how big this thing is, but I'll tell you why I bought it after I take it out of here. I don't want this too close to my camera, because this is supposed to be pretty powerful. You don't want to put this next to people who have heart monitors and other things, pacemakers. They wrap this up really well because this could cause lots of problems. You don't want to have this around pets. You know, you just be really careful with this product. That's all I can say. Be really careful. So I'm going to tell you why I bought this thing in a minute. The price is not that bad, I don't think. We'll get this thing out of here. Oh, I guess the table, oh, there's metal under the table. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to wrap this up in some type of plastic or painter's tape to not cause damage when it touches something. So you can see the force. Why did I buy this? I want to put some grab bars in a house. And I know this is way overkill, but that's okay. You could use this on your refrigerator. I wouldn't. Are we already chipped? No, I guess they put those edges on there. Okay, I want to put a grab bar on a wall. And yeah, I know you can do the knocking on the wall to hear where it's hollow and where it's firm, so you know where the studs are. I want to be a little bit more careful than just drilling in when I know there's a stud, because when I'm using the stud finder, you go over there and you see the edge of the stud, then you see the center, and then you see the edge, and you go an inch down, and you're like, well, is this really a stud or not? And I know it's going off of, it's going after the, I can't remember the word now, the density in the wall. That's how most of them work. So it goes after the density in the wall, and that's how you figure out where the center of the stud is and the edges. But they also can work off of the screw where the drywall is screwed into the drywall. So I just want to make sure that I'm definitely on a stud. And if you're on a stud, you're going to have a screw and a screw and a screw and a screw. But when I'm using this thing all over the wall, I go like, okay, so there's a stud over there, and maybe an inch up there's no stud, maybe there is a stud, maybe there's a cross member, and I'm just not 100% sure. And I don't want to drill into this person's wall until I'm sure. I've got some time to do this. There's no rush. Same thing with the shower. Now, if you've got if you got plaster and you got the mesh behind it, this might not help you at all. Maybe it will help you, maybe not. If you got a shower where they use the mud and the mesh, the metal in there, whatever they call that, the lathe, I don't know. Maybe this isn't going to help you. But I'm going to test this out and see, is this going to help me a little bit? And the idea behind that is you move this thing around a wall, and if there's a stud underneath there that has a screw, it's going to stick. And then you put a piece of tape over there, or you put a little marking, and you go, oh, okay, so there's nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, and then, whoa, there's something over here. So now we know that there's something that is being held with two screws. It could also be a wire, so you need to be really careful what you're doing. It could also be a piece of plumbing. But if you go and you knock on the thing and you go, okay, so it's got a different sound pitch over there, we know that there's something behind here. Now, if I get a screw, if this thing sticks on the wall, and I go, okay, that's definitely metal and metal and metal. Now I know that I've got a stud. And maybe I've got a connection, metal for maybe a foot, and then I don't have it for a foot, and then I've got it for a foot. Maybe they didn't put a screw in there, or maybe it's a new piece of wood. Maybe it's a new stud. Maybe it's a cross member. So this is just to help me be a little bit more sure of what I'm doing on the wall. Most people, if you look online at these people installing grab bars on a wall, they're using the wingets or the Moen things, and they're drilling these big holes in there, and they're not going into the studs, and they don't care if they go into the studs. Or some of them are using toggle bolts or molly bolts or anchors, and they're saying this is the way to do it. Maybe, maybe not. ADA always wants you to go into a stud. And then you've got the other people that say, if you go into the wall with a grab bar and an anchor, the grab bar is not meant to pull yourself up. The grab bar is used for balance, to give you balance if you don't have balance so you don't fall over, but it's not meant to hold you up. That's not really true. Now maybe in your house you might say you want to use it for balance, but you go into a commercial building, a business, the ADA says that is going to be mounted into a stud, and if you have to break open the wall to put studs in there or cross beams, it has to be going through a stud. So ADA doesn't say the bar is for balance. ADA says the bar is to support 300 pounds or 250 pounds. So you can listen to all the justifications you want about grab bars and studs. You want to go into a stud. You got to go into a stud, and if you have to build up the wall, you have to build up the wall. Some people are going to say, I'm not going to do that, but I've contacted a whole bunch of people about installing grab bars. Nobody wants the liability. You go and you install it with an anchor, and somebody falls, you can sue the heck out of them, and they know it, so nobody wants to do grab bars. Maybe a handyman will, and he'll disappear, and he'll say, well, I put it in the right way. That's why I bought this. And look at this. There's a lot of pull on this thing. And I'm not going to take it over to the house now and make a video of showing you this grabbing the wall, but if you're going to use this, I would totally suggest wrapping it up in a, look at that. And most of the time you can't pull these things off. Most of the time you have to slide it off. You don't want to use a pliers, because if this cracks, you're going to have a lot of sharp pieces shooting all over the place. But that's how you do it. You slide it apart, or you try to lift from an edge. If this thing was on a heavy piece of metal, this would be, look at that. One of them, a good price. Two of them, you save yourself about $8, sold by Dig Mag stores. The 40-inch, what am I saying, 40-inch? The 40 millimeter by 40 millimeter by 20 millimeters thick. Don't ever put your finger between this thing and a piece of metal, because this is going to slam down, and it's going to hurt you. Strong Neodymium block magnet N52 permanent magnet disc. Don't put this next to a television set. Don't put this next to your cell phone. Don't put it next to electronics or an SD card or a TV or a computer. Oh, ow! This thing is heavy duty, matcha maludi, and I'm taking it over there tomorrow, and I'm going to find exactly where this thing says there are screws or metal behind the wall, and that is how I'm going to know where the stud is. And once I know where the stud is, then I'm going to know what size grab bar I need. Now, if you're doing ADA, then you don't even need this video, because you know what you have to do. ADA's got rules on the size, the length of the grab bar for each location, against the wall, against the toilet, against the shower, against the sink. They've got all of that stuff, heights, lengths. But by doing this, I'll be able to say, if I've got a stud and a stud over here, and my grab bar is not the right length, maybe I can put it over here to here and get the length that I need. But you need to know where your studs are. You've got to know where the metal is behind the wall. And again, if you're a pro with the stud finder, some of them are really good. Some of them have those 5 lights and they tell you exactly what's going on. But it can get confusing if you've got a stud next to a stud next to a stud. Oh, baby. But if you've got 3 studs and there's only a screw in here and a screw in here and nothing in here, but it's giving you all the readings, you might not know what the heck's behind the wall. And if you're good with drywall or good with well, yeah, drywall or wallboard or plaster, if you're good with that, just go in there and cut the thing out. Cut it out. That's what a lot of people that I know do. A lot of drywall people, they just go in there and they cut the big piece out. Look at what's behind the wall and figure out where the studs are, where they think they are. And if they need to, then they'll go in there and they'll knock cross pieces in between the studs so that they can build everything up so they have a secure location for the grab bar. This is my review on the magnet, and it's also kind of a video on how to use a magnet to install grab bars.